We'll start with the invocation. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Navastute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. We welcome Rashi. She also is in the process of getting caught up on past recordings. So welcome, and please continue to feel free to ask any and all questions, even if you are joining partway through. I will bring up on screen a yoga ladder shell document. So you will notice that it's a very busy document. We have 80 plus boxes to populate. I will be sending this to you. I will post this in the chat right now. And I request all of you to please print this on a tabloid size page, 11 by 17 in landscape. Has anybody seen a movie or a video in a fast forward mode? Anybody? Probably all of you. Yes. Okay. So the yoga ladder class, which is a couple classes away, is going to run like a movie or a video in a fast forward mode. So some of you had thought that the chapter 1 and 2 summary class was fast. Well, yoga ladder class will be at least 4 times faster than any of the fastest class we have had so far. And some of you will wonder, well, why not split this yoga ladder class in 2 classes? So trust me, I have already done this yoga ladder class at all previous batches, there are multiple batches, and offloading all that volume of information at the yoga ladder class has worked. Otherwise, you will ask questions which anyway get answered down the line. Therefore, I will offload all this information in that one very fast-paced class. This yoga ladder class is a summary of the first 6 chapters. Both known and unknown puzzle pieces will fall in their respective places. Yes, even the unknown puzzle pieces will fall in their correct places. And following week, the entire class will be open-ended question and answers on yoga ladder and anything and everything, where you all will explain at least one point and ask at least one question. I'm pretty sure many of you will have more than one question, but definitely try to ask at least one question. So I will post a Google link where you will populate ahead of time so that I have enough time to prepare for your inquiries. So print this yoga ladder chart on a tabloid size page, 11 by 17 in landscape. And simultaneously also have a blank paper besides you to keep writing down questions as we populate this yoga ladder chart. Now sit in a comfortable place with a cone of silence around you, so that you can populate as many of the 80 plus boxes on the yoga ladder chart. Now traveling on that yoga ladder class is not going to work. So I request you to sit at a comfortable place with a cone of silence so that you can populate. Join before the class starts. Otherwise, you will miss the base setting start and the class is going to run at a very fast pace and you're going to miss a lot of initial base setting discussion. And even with you sitting at a comfortable place with a cone of silence around you, still you will end up missing to populate about 25% of the boxes. But don't worry about them. You will all get caught up on all those points. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So let me post this yoga ladder chart in the chat. I posted it and you all can please print. All right. Okay. So last week, when India won the Cricket World Cup, did anyone remember our discussion from 5.17 that how we get emotionally involved? Or was it that you all just got emotionally involved in the win? Anybody? Everybody? Yes, no, silence.
Was not able to remember the verse, Prabhuji.
Mm,
But I could see that I was emotionally involved.
mm, mm. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Partho.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I was involved
Mm,
and became emotional.
yeah. So that's what I was discussing at our last class, that it is not consciously or subconsciously, it is a fact that we have these four lanes of intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge moving in four different directions. And that's why we struggle to advance on the path of spirituality. So keep endeavoring. You all are endeavoring very nicely. Keep endeavoring and become conscious of where your consciousness is running. And soon you will become conscious for yourself to bring yourself back. Everybody can try that, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So we will continue our discussion from chapter 5, verse number 23 onwards, and we'll aim to finish chapter 5 today. So in 5.17, we discussed that without me realizing, the four items of intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are going in four different directions. 5.18 says, if you have these four items of intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge steadily fixed on Krishna, then you will become Samadarshina, means equipoised towards everything in the material world, whether it be happiness or distress, and see everyone, whether it be a dog or a dog eater or a Brahmana or anyone, you'll see everyone with equal vision. And this is explained in 5.19 that the one who has Samadarshina will have equal vision. But how does one get these four items of intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge fixed on Krishna? Therefore, from verse number 20 to 29 in chapter 5, Krishna describes the process. So these verses 20 to 29 describe the characteristics possessed by a Siddha. Siddha means one who is purified. He already has these characteristics. And these characteristics from 20 to 29 verses are for us sadhakas to practice, are for us sadhakas to develop. So these are our goals to achieve. These are our goals to move towards to by us in our sadhaka stage. And these characteristics are how you can measure your spiritual progress. So the essence of this section is to redirect our pleasure-seeking desires from matter to spirit, meaning move from outward enjoyment to inner satisfaction. And as you already would have noticed, and our today's class also will be very heavy discussion. So 5.20, it states that one who is equipoised in pleasure and pain, then one comes to the spiritual platform. And 5.21 explains that we need to detach from external pleasures to attain spiritual happiness. And 5.22 is the basis for detaching from external pleasure, because sense gratification is a womb of misery. So we discussed the punchline for 5.22, Chetan Chandasa's brilliant punchline, that the false currency that keeps us trading in the stock exchange of illusion. So what is this false currency? False currency is the sense gratification. And what is this stock exchange of illusion? Is the material world. I'll replace the words in the punchline. So the false currency that keeps us trading in the stock exchange of illusion. And with the replaced words, the punchline is the sense enjoyment means the false currency that keeps us trading in the material world, means in this stock exchange of illusion. So this is what we had discussed up to our last class. Now, even if I accept theoretically that material enjoyment leads to misery, so in this statement, the two words even if and theoretical are the key words. That knowing that sense gratification leads to misery, but my desires do not go away just by knowing this theoretically. So what should I do with my desires? Therefore, Krishna says in verse number 23 that you have to learn to tolerate. And of course, we have discussed throughout our study that we need to purify our desires also, rather than simply focusing on trying to tolerate or trying to control. Let's read from verse number 23 onwards. Translation. Abhishek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. 5.23. Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the forces of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world.
So Krishna says, tolerate your urges generated by desire, lust, and anger. So these urges are born from the body. Now, urges will be there as long as we have this body. So you have to learn to tolerate as long as you have this body. Krishna says, one who is able to tolerate the urges is well situated, and such a person will be happy. So we have to understand that as long as we have this body, we will have the urges. As we continue to get purified, the urges, or more importantly, the struggle with the urges, will be more manageable, but urges will still be there. Now, tolerance is a wall between temptation and acting on that temptation. Temptation means, oh, this feels so good, I want to enjoy. Means the desires come up in the mind. All of us will get temptations. And acting means when we act on those desires, on those temptations, then we do something wrong. So tolerance is a wall that prevents temptation from becoming actions or wrong actions. Now, tolerance is not a weakness. Tolerance is actually a strength. Not tolerating can make us weak. Tolerance can help us to become strong because will help us to choose the right response and make the right response. Therefore, tolerance is a strength. Not tolerating is actually a weakness because it makes us slaves to the impulses of the senses. When temptations come, take it as a challenge to tolerate that I should not succumb to these temptations. I don't have to think, oh, I am so weak and I should fall down. No, we don't have to think that way. I will play Chetan Chanda's lecture here on this tolerance point. It's a very important and a heavy discussion. Therefore, I will play in two parts. So let's hear from Chetan Chandas, take notes, and we will come back to discussing these points.
The temptations simply indicate that we have become disconnected from Krishna. So when the temptations come, that doesn't mean that we have to become connected with sense gratification. You see, if there are in America and other places where there are long roads, in many places a matter of security, on the side of the roads they have some sort of speed breaker sort of things. There are bumps. So when a person is driving on the road and say the person is inattentive, maybe because the roads are long and clear, the person just dozes off to sleep or something while driving, sleeping on the wheel. So then the vehicle starts going off track. When it starts going off track, what happens is it meets these speed breaker like structures which cause the person to jolt, and the vehicle jolts and the person wakes up, and then as the person wakes, hey, the vehicle is going off track, pull it back on track. So when the jolts come, that doesn't necessarily mean that the vehicle has to go off the road and one has to meet with an accident. The jolts are a warning that one is going off track. So what should we do when the jolt comes? Pull the vehicle back on track. So So similarly, when material desires start making in our rising in our mind, that simply means that we are going off track. When temptations start coming in our mind and start agitating us, then that means our Krishna connection has become weak. We are meant to be going on the straight road of Krishna consciousness, but we are straight off track. So when we are straight off track, what should we do? Pull back and come on track. Not that because the temptation has come, so I have to act in it. That means, oh, because the jolt has come, now I have to go into the ditch and fall off. No, it's not like that. So at that time, pull back. So rather than saying that when the arrival of seeing the arrival of temptation as a cause for capitulation means giving up. We should see the arrival of temptation as a cause for retaliation. Yes, my mind led me off track. I'll fight. I'll come back on track. So we should see the arrival of temptation not as a cause for capitulation, but as a cause for retaliation. The mind took me off track. I will not be cheated. Come back. Yes, it's not safe to fall asleep while we are driving. But if it happens, what do we do? It's not that we have to become made with an accident. We can pull back on track. So the jolts that we experience inside when we start getting tempted, that simply indicates that we started steering off track. We have started going away from the path of Krishna consciousness. When we come back on the path, chant Hare Krishna. Remember some philosophy. Pray to Krishna. Think of some beautiful pictures from deities. Sing some melodious bhajans, some prayers, whatever. All of us have to have our own ready stock of weapons. Weapons means that these are the means by which we beat down the temptations. So all of us need to have that ready stock of weapons. And with them, when we beat down temptation, then we become calm. We become steady, we become composed. And then we can come back on track. So Krishna is saying, tolerate. And prak sharir vimokshanat. Till the moment of death. Actually, we should never let our guard down. As a firefighter becomes more and more seasoned, more and more experienced, it is not that the firefighter has 20 years of experience. That doesn't mean that because the firefighter has 20 years of experience, so the fires that are going to get set in the city are going to become smaller. No, the fires will still be as big, but the firefighter will be expert. For the first time when the firefighter goes and sees there's a fire, what happens is the fire hose drops off there. It's a big fire, what should I do? Then somebody says, come on, take up this fire hose. Pour the water on it. So, and then he pours the water and the fire is already extinguished. But if the firefighter is a seasoned firefighter, 20 years down the line, then what happens? Then as soon as the fire is seen, immediately the fire is picked up, the button is pressed, and exactly knows, okay, the fire is coming from here, so I should put more water on this side, not on this side. And exactly with intelligence, with diligence, with speed, the person expertly extinguishes the fire. So it's not that the fires will not be set off just because the firefighter has experience. So lust is like a fire. So just because I have practiced Krishna consciousness for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that doesn't mean that the fires of lust will not be set off. Yes, there will be provoking sense objects. And of course, our provocation may be lesser, it should be lesser, but it doesn't matter whether the provocation is lesser or not. The important thing is that we have the means, we have the knowledge to extinguish it. So rather than lamenting, oh, why are these fires of lust getting set up? We should become more seasoned, more experienced. As soon as the fires get set up, extinguish them. So take on the fire hose. So what is our fire hose? Our fire hose is remembrance of Krishna. So when we take up the fire hose, the remembrance of Krishna, and start dousing the fire, that fire dies off.
Okay, what did he explain?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Pratyush Prabhu, go ahead.
He said this point that the arrival of temptation should not be seen as a cause for capitulation, but as a cause for retaliation.
Very good. Okay, everybody, there are so many points in that short clip. Megha?
Prabhuji, he shared that we need to become more seasoned like a firefighter, so that and the Krishna name is like a fire hose. So once you are more seasoned, none of the fire becomes small, but you become more seasoned and experienced to handle it.
Yeah, very good. That just because you are practicing Krishna consciousness does not mean that the temptations will not come. No, you will still. It's just that the difference is you will become experienced to be able to douse the fire. Very good, Sumnima.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, temptation means we're being disconnected from Krishna and our connection is being weak. So, we should all have a process for us to come back to track.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, temptation simply means our Krishna connection is weak. That does not mean that I have to get connected to sense gratification. And he gave us weapons that we should have our weapons ready. Okay, very good. Somebody can speak on those weapons. Samma?
He said our weapons can be the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra or hearing the bhajans and just making sure that we pull back. And to explain this, he gave us an example of driving a car on a long road, and when we get speed breaker, so if the driver is dozing off, with the speed breaker, with the jolt, he will make sure that the vehicle comes back on track.
Yeah.
So if we are having temptations in our mind, we are technically going off track, and so this if the jolt comes, we are supposed to pull back by using these weapons.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Monarch?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, same point which Sama Mata has covered, that joy and temptation, these are the warning that we are going off track towards the path of Krishna consciousness. So we should try to tolerate or control those temptations rather than having an action on it.
Very good. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. Thank you. So let me play the second part of this lecture, and we will again come back to discuss.
So what we should try expect is not that the desires won't come up. Actually, the desires will also stop coming, but they will not stop coming just because we expect them to stop coming. They will stop coming when we repeatedly and insistently say no to them. No, nothing doing. Every time we indulge a little bit in the desire blazes forward. And every time we say no to it, the desire dies down. Sometimes, occasionally it may appear that when we say no to a desire, sometimes it appears the desire is becoming stronger. And we say no to the temptation and we feel, this temptation, it is troubling me all the more. Actually, it is not like that. Prabhupada gives the example that when in a circus, the circus trainer is training a tiger. So initially, the tiger, how the tiger is trained, normally it's trained through eating. So when the tiger does what the circus trainer wants, the tiger is fed. Otherwise, the tiger is not fed. So now when the tiger is not fed, at that time, the tiger's roar starts becoming more threatening, more menacing. It's as if it's going to shake off and break off through the whole cage itself. The way it roars. And an inexperienced observer may start to become so ferocious, better feed the tiger something. But the experienced circus trainer knows the tiger may be roaring louder, but it is becoming weaker. It is roaring louder externally, but because it is not being fed, it is becoming weaker. And if one can tolerate that loud roars, no matter how much you intimidate, I am not going to get threat. That tiger cannot come out of the cage. It can't do anything. So then gradually it becomes docile. It understands my roaring is not going to get me anywhere. Then I have to simply do what this trainer is telling me, then I will get food, otherwise I will not get food. So then the tiger becomes docile, becomes obedient. And even after it becomes obedient, still the tiger has to be dealt with caution. It cannot be trusted very easily. So similarly, the mind is like the tiger. When the mind says, come on, enjoy, and we say, no, enjoy, the mind starts roaring like a tiger. Roaring, come on, do it. Okay. Don't trouble me so much. We start becoming submissive to the mind. Instead of becoming submissive to Krishna, we become submissive to the mind. We don't have to become submissive to the mind. We don't have to become intimidated by its scaring techniques. Actually, the mind is screaming louder, but if we are not fulfilling its impulses, it is becoming weaker. It's becoming weaker. And initially it will roar and scream. But gradually, if we don't fulfill its desire, then that roar will come down to a whimper. And then it will become silent. So, actually speaking, we have to starve the mind. Prak sharir vimokshanat. So, rather than expecting that the desires will go away on their own, what we should do is repeatedly and insistently, consistently, we say no to those desires and not get intimidated by their threats. Then they will become weaker. They'll become weaker.
Okay, what did he say? And did he explain it nicely, the roar of the mind?
Yes, Prabhuji, an excellent explanation. And in fact, this will really stick with the mind, explained with this metaphor and analogy of tiger, that tiger is just like your desires roaring inside you. The moment you set them aside or you weaken them, they get weakened if you don't feed them. So the more lesser you feed, weakened it gets, and they get clarity that until and unless the tiger agrees with the master, he will not be getting food.
Yeah,
So
very
he
good.
need not become intimidated by the scream or the roar.
Very good. Rest of you, what did he explain?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, he told that we cannot expect the desire not to come, but we should consistently deny to such desires. And the same thing, the roar of mind like that of tiger, we should not be intimidated by the techniques of mind, but we should not focus on the impulses, but we should deny it, and the roar becomes weaker and weaker. We should repeatedly and insistently follow our path.
Yeah, very good. Rest of you?
I think another major point he said is to treat it with caution. That means desires are also very volatile and very dangerous. So you have to make sure that your responses are tuned with caution.
Yeah, very good. Very good point. Abhishek Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this point was, and the same point was explained with the tiger analogy, that slowly the tiger becomes obedient, but still it doesn't mean that we still have to exert caution with the tiger or the mind.
Yeah, very good. So almost all of you have received this mind control lecture from our chapter 2 discussion. I request all of you to please listen to that mind control lecture again, where His Grace Chaitanya Chanda says that you have to treat the mind as an untrusted outsider. Yeah, within our body, there is the mind as well as there is a soul. So just because the desires are coming from inside does not mean the desires are coming from the soul. No, they can be coming from the contaminated mind as well. Therefore, treat the mind as an untrusted outsider. When some untrusted outsider tells us to do something, we don't just do it. No, we first validate. Similarly, when we get a desire, validate it with scriptures. Is the desire taking me closer to Krishna? Then okay, I will do it. That means that desire is coming from the soul. But if the desire is something at the sensual level enjoyment, means it's taking me away from Krishna, well, that's coming from the contaminated mind. Therefore, I will avoid. And we learn to tolerate. So the punchline for the tolerance is that tolerance is the wall between temptations and acting on those temptations. So tolerance is a wall that prevents us from the temptations going on to become as actions or going on to become as wrong actions. So rather than expecting that the desires will go away on their own, no, we have to repeatedly and insistently and consistently say no to those desires originating from the mind. So very important to understand that two key points were discussed. That by my Krishna conscious practice, desires will not go away. Rather, we become prepared to fight the urges. And His Grace Chandrachand Das gave the example of how the firefighter becomes experienced to douse the fire. The fires are still going to be there, but he becomes experienced on how to douse the fire. That's how we have to be experienced and prepared with our weapons. The weapons of remembering Krishna either by chanting japa or kirtan or the class discussion or doing devotional services or associating with devotees, whatever works for you. And the second practice is that by the Krishna conscious practice, we learn to tolerate the mind's roars and demands, which His Great Chandrachand has demonstrated perfectly with the tiger example. So by tolerating the mind's fire or the mind's urges will diminish little by little and get extinguished. So we have also discussed in chapter 2 that indulgence in sense gratification is not going to satisfy your senses. Indulgence is actually going to act as fire to even increase your desires. Therefore, we have to learn to tolerate. In the next verse, we will discuss how to give the mind a safe playing space. Just as you give a child some toy to play to keep engaged, similarly, instead of saying no, 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 no to the mind, just give the mind a safe playing space, meaning keep the mind engaged in Krishna conscious activities proactively. That way, the mind is engaged properly and there is no need to say no. By occupying the mind in Krishna conscious activities, there will be no time left for mind to engage in some other activities. We become happy when we become detached from external pleasures. If we keep indulging in the desires of the mind, it will keep blazing more and more, and we will never have happiness. So Krishna will now explain turning inwards, meaning after he has explained that outward happiness it leads to misery. We already discussed in a couple of verses. Therefore, now he will say, what's the solution? The solution for finding happiness is to turn inwards. Samma 24 translation.
One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoice within, and whose aim is inward is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme and ultimately he attains the Supreme.
So one who finds happiness within, such a person attains spiritual happiness. Instead of letting our memory filled with remembrance of past sense gratification activities, we should fill our memory with beautiful darshan of Shri Radha Krishna, some memorable kirtan, some excellent Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam class discussions. So we replace those old memories with our devotional memories. We have to consciously cultivate. We do have such excellent spiritual experiences But we forget. So we have to consciously remember all these, or note down on paper or a short diary with some important points, and use these devotional memories as your weapons to fight the mind's roaring urges. Okay. Nishan Prabhu, 25 translation.
Verse 25. Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme.
So giving food, clothing, etc. to anybody, they are of course noble and pious acts, but this will generate pious credits for you, and pious credits are a problem. What's the problem with pious credits? So helping also requires some level of understanding as to what real help is. If you have pious credits, you will have to come back to this miserable material world to enjoy those pious credits. Well, it's not helping you at all. And plus, if you are just giving food or clothing at the bodily level, it's not helping the beggar either. Therefore, you need to understand what is real help. So giving money to a beggar, and instead of buying food, the beggar uses the money to smoke or drink, the result of that smoking and drinking is going to come to you. So as long as we only help at the level of body, that is not going to help to the beggar at all. And of course, it's not helping you. So if you have the inclination to help poor, and all of us should have this inclination, that when you are chanting, your heart is meant to become soft. So what you do is take that helping inclination, and instead of giving money or instead of giving regular food, offer bhoga to Gopinath at your home temple, like uncut fruit, say apple or orange or whatever is available in your respective places according to the weather and season that you can carry, and which doesn't get spoiled very easily. So you cannot take like strawberries or blueberries. They will spoil very quickly or even get crushed while you are carrying. So take something like apple or oranges and whatever little harder food. Offer to Gopinath at your home temple in an uncut manner. Make it prasad and give that prasad to the beggar. So the beggar does not have the opportunity to use the money to smoke or drink. Plus, by giving prasad to the beggar is getting help because he is getting prasad. Plus, you are also getting the benefit of being protected from not generating the pious credit. Couple days ago, when I was walking into a store, there was this one lady standing at the corner of a store and asking every person walking by. She was asking for some loose change. Can you give me some change? Can you give me some change? Now this same lady was standing with a cigarette in her hand and she was smoking. Arey Baba, but why are you smoking? Where did you get the money to smoke? If you are so worried about, say, food or something, the basic necessities, but you are smoking. And I would be surprised that why would anybody give that beggar who is smoking, why would anybody give money to that beggar? Because you know that beggar is going to go and smoke. So you are not helping the beggar at all. You are actually creating more problems for the beggar. Let's read the purport last paragraph and then we will come to discuss these points about pass credit and the beggars, etc. Mega, if you want to read 25 purport last paragraph, it starts a person engaged only in ministering the physical welfare.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. 5.25. A person engaged only in ministering to the physical welfare of human society cannot factually help anyone. Temporary relief of the external body and the mind is not satisfactory. The real cause of one's difficulties and the hard struggle for life may be found in one's forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord. When a man is fully conscious of his relationship with Krishna, he is actually a liberated soul, although he may be in the material tabernacle. Hare Krishna.
Right? So temporary relief of the external body is not real health. Krishna consciousness is the best welfare activity. Why? Because you are helping at the level of soul. So the homework lecture that I'm going to send in the group after our class today is actually on this point, and the lecture is titled Krishna consciousness is the best welfare activity in the human society. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations.
I have so many questions, and
Rashi,
there's lots. Yeah, this is Rashi, and I'm not sure if I can ask all these questions during this session, or should I be like asking separately, because
ask at least one, and then you can then connect with me offline if there are more.
Yeah, so the two things that I understood clearly is the food for mind, because mind is the origin of all the thoughts and desires. So if the food for mind is good, and if we are selective on choosing what to feed it, like what to see, what to read, what to hear, then it's kind of like protecting it from anything that can lead to any desires that are disastrous. So that so the weapons that they're talking about, like mantra chanting and reading Bhagavad Gita and any such scriptures that can enlighten us, would really help protecting the mind, because that is the cause. So the food we'll feed, it would become the basis of all the thoughts, right? So we can check it right there, what we want to feed, and we have to be like really conscious of the food that we are feeding. So then we don't have to really worry about what thoughts are coming and if the desires would come, because the basis would be really nice and clean. So that's where we can keep the check, and that's one thing. So we have to be very conscious.
Yeah, so let me add, very good point. So our this current material world, which has been in existence for at least 155 trillion years, and it is going to continue for another 155 trillion years roughly, give and take a few million years. We'll discuss this. Where am I getting this 155 trillion years? It's an upcoming homework exercise that you will get in 8.17 that I will explain. So this mind, which is a separate entity within our body, has been taking us life after life after life after life after life for at least 155 trillion years. In this cycle of creation, there have been cycles of creation before also, where this mind has been taking us on a ride. Therefore, it is very, very important how Rashi correctly described. What you feed the mind is very important. We have to learn to purify our mind. Very good. Rashi, continue.
And my question is like the beggar example, that why would anybody give a beggar any change? Because they'll go and smoke a cigarette or some other kind of stuff, bad thing. But to me, like as a little girl, every time I would see somebody like, dirty looking beggars just crawling on the floors, and they would sleep in a way that you can tell that this is not like a normal sleep. They are intoxicated, like they have taken some kind of like stuff that can put them to a sleep looking like that, like they are unconscious, right? So I would wonder why uh, when somebody gives money, why are they not going and getting like good food, like nutritious food? Why would they spend it on this? So I came up with this, that as a human being, we have so many things that can fulfill us. So for them, their life is so miserable that just by food cannot satisfy all the needs that a person has. So to forget about everything and to get away from their reality, they incline towards intoxicating themselves so that they are away. It's like an escape of the reality,
Yeah.
and they just want to go away. That's why they choose those things. So that because just that little help of food or one blanket doesn't fulfill all the needs a person requires, right? So for them, the easiest way is to forget it, to be intoxicated, to be in another world and not realize what they are, and they are just escaping. That's exactly what all the beggars have been doing, because they don't have the courage to face the reality. And we don't have time and money or whatever means to help them like in a full holistic manner. So I don't really know how should I be helping.
Yeah. So very good. So let me explain. You are absolutely correct that material world is meant to fulfill the desires of each individual soul. And ignorance is the cause of material existence. Is described at great length in Srimad Bhagavatam. Kunti Maharani explains the material existence in 3 words. Avidya, Kama, Karma, Bhi. Avidya is the starting point, ignorance. Kama is desires. Karma, Bhi is then rotative activities. That ignorance is the cause of existence. So in terms of solution, that Rashi very rightly inquired, I've explained my personal experience earlier, and I will repeat those 2 points from before. So when I used to drive on a particular street, every day I used to see this one beggar standing at a particular intersection and asking for food or money. Generally, he would ask for money. So one day, I took apples from the temple, as well as I put more apples from my home temple. I offered to Gopinath, my home temple, and I put it in a bag and I gave this to the beggar. So evening, I'm going back home from work and I gave that bag of apples to the beggar. Next morning, when I'm driving the same road, I actually saw that same bag of apples sitting in the middle of the intersection. What that meant was that the beggar was not interested in the food. He was interested in money. So I stopped giving prasadam to that particular beggar. And another time, I was traveling very late in the day. It was closer to 10 p.m. or so, and I was just doing some boga shopping as well on my way back. So at a store at that late night, a female, very feeble female, a handicapped person on a wheelchair came to me and said, "Give me some money." Now, that late night, that feeble and female and on a wheelchair, anybody would have want to give her some mercy or something. So I said, "I cannot give you money. Would you like to eat something?" So she said, "Yes, I would like to eat something." So I went into the store. I bought a couple of fruit items. I didn't buy my boga shopping. I said, first I need to give something to eat to this beggar. So I generally always carry the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in my pocket. So I bought fruit, couple of fruit items, and I made a makeshift temple in the store itself. In the corner, I put the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra is identical to Gopinath. So I put the mantra there, and Hare Krishna Mahamantra is very lenient compared to Gopinath's standards of service. So I with folded hands, I placed the unwashed fruit. I asked for forgiveness. I said, they are not even washed, but I want the beggar to get some prasad. So I offered the fruit right there in the store to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, made it prasad, went down running and gave the fruit to the beggar. The beggar was still there. And then I came back to the store and did my shopping. So you all also learn this process. There is a video from my home temple of how to offer bhoga to Gopinath. It's a pretty long video, but at least you can do simple this way offering. Rashi and everybody on the same page, does that help?
Yes, kind of, but I still like want to know more how we can actually make a difference and actually help.
Yeah, give
Because
prasad. Give
yes,
prasad. That's the only solution, because Prabhupada
mm-hmm,
explains in
mm-hmm,
3.13 and 14 that unless somebody takes prasad, their finer tissues of the brain will never be cleansed, means they will never come out of ignorance. First, you need to get them out of
okay,
ignorance.
right.
Only then whatever you will talk will help them. So prasad
Understood. Yes,
is your starting point.
wonderful. Thank you.
Very good. Everybody on the same page? And Rashi, you can please feel
Yes,
free
Prabhuji.
to connect with me offline as well.
Sure, I would. Thank you.
So Prabhupada explained in the purport that we just read that the real cause of one's difficulties in the hard struggle of life is because of forgetfulness of one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. It is this forgetfulness that is to be removed, and this is what the preachers do. So there are a few devotees who are preachers who go out on book distribution. They give prasad and books. That's all. That's all my ability is. All right. Okay. Verse number 26. Mohit Prabhu, are you able to read 26 translation?
Mohit is unavailable today.
Monica, you can read, please.
Yeah. 26. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self realized, self disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future.
You read the Sanskrit of this verse, the word kama krodha is together. So many places in Bhagavad Gita, the words kama krodha are together because kama and krodha are connected. Kama can refer to lust as well as kama can also refer to desires. So krodha or anger is known as kama anuja. Anuja means younger brother. When kama comes, means lust, or when desires come, sooner or later, krodh will come, means anger will come, because krodh is kama anuja, younger brother of kama. So one has to be freed from both kama as well as krodh. Krishna has stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.37 that these kama and krodha are our inner enemies. Plus, we have also discussed in chapter 2, verses 62-63, where Krishna has stated that when kama is frustrated, it leads to krodha. Again, in 2.62-63 also the words kama and krodha are together, and because they are connected. Now, strong material desires, it becomes lust, and frustrated lust becomes anger. So next time you have some anger, remember our discussion from 2.62, Sanjayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama. That and the verse says, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, Kama Krodha Abhijayate. Meaning, when you become angry next time, you try to find the root cause of your anger. That there is some unfulfilled desire which has led to anger. This way, you will be able to control anger because you will be able to address the root cause of your anger. How? By you have to purify the desire at the root which caused the anger. Purification means replacing material with spiritual. So I have given this example earlier, and I will repeat that example about the alcoholic very soon. That alcoholic is asked to eat chocolate instead of purifying his desire every time he gets the craving to drink. I will explain this again. So in 5.22, Krishna stated, understand that sense gratification leads to misery. Therefore, don't engage in sense gratification. In 5.23, Krishna says, Kama Krodha comes up again together. And Krishna has said to tolerate the urges. Unfulfilled Kama leads to Krodha. And fulfilled Kama leads to Lobha. Both ways is a trap. I will repeat. Unfulfilled Kama leads to Krodha, and fulfilled Kama leads to Lobha, that I want more and more and more. Therefore, both ways is a trap. So what's the solution? To control lust and anger, solution is that one needs higher way to live and higher way to experience happiness, which is experiencing happiness within at the level of soul rather than trying to enjoy at the bodily and sensual level. So Kama and Krodha together is very important because many may be able to control Kama, which of course is difficult, but they will still not be able to control Krodha. The key is may be able to control. So Srimad Bhagavatam says, Jnanis cross over the ocean of lust, but they fall and drown in the puddle of growth. Now, nobody is supposed to drown in a puddle. So what's this talking about? That Jnanis may control themselves so much to be able to cross this almost insurmountable ocean of lust, but then they fall down in this puddle of growth because they have not yet purified their basic desire. They were only suppressing. So if Kama is not purified, if it is just suppressed, the inner battle goes on. The inner battle of I want it versus I won't do it. Now this battle is self-centered. I want it and I won't do it, right? I is there. While devotees are focusing on Krishna, that I want to please Krishna. This I is followed by pleasing Krishna, is not at my bodily level I. Therefore, the devotees only do what will please Krishna. And Therefore, the devotees do not engage in lust and sense gratification because it does not please Krishna. So focus of devotee is not on the I at the bodily level, my bodily level. No, that's not the focus. Devotee's focus is on Krishna, to please Krishna. Therefore, desire to please Krishna crowds out the desire to enjoy or even the desire to renounce. If devotee's motivation is driven by desire to renounce and not by the desire to serve, most likely outcome is that we will have a volcano-like eruption of anger, just as I explained the analogy of Gyan Yogis, that they cross over the ocean of lust without really purifying their desire. Therefore, they fall and drown in a puddle of crude. So this volcano-like eruption of anger is because that I am controlling myself so much and still so many things are going wrong. Hence, the anger will explode like a volcano. And that hot lava coming out can break our relationships as well as break our bhakti. The example to understand this is Vishwamitra Muni. He was doing meditation for like thousands, tens and thousands of years, some 50, 60 thousands of years. And he fell prey to karma. Now, he realized his mistake and he again started doing austerities again for such tens and thousands of years for the second time. So when he was doing this meditation for the second time, he knew that he does not have to fall prey to lust. But second time, he became angry. The result was the same, that he fell down. So for spiritually advanced, one has to become free from both Kama and Krodha. If one is only free from Kama, which of course is a challenge, but not free from Krodha, that means the desire is not getting redirected towards Krishna. The desire is not getting purified. The desire is simply getting redirected from one material object to another material object. The solution has to be, what is required is to move our desire from material to spiritual. So this is the example of alcoholic I was mentioning a few minutes ago, and I will repeat. Now, an alcoholic is told to eat chocolates every time he gets a craving to drink. The result is now the alcoholic is now addicted to chocolates. Now, chocolates may not be as harmful as drinking, but this is not really a solution. From an evil material urge of drinking to another lesser evil material urge of eating chocolate is still evil. Therefore, what devotees want is purification. Purification means replacement of material with spiritual. Now, if we try to empty our mind, the sensual desires will come either from outside or from inside, from our past memories. I have explained in our earlier class from this Indian movie, almost all of us are from India or around area, this Indian movie Yade, where the title song is Yade Hai Yade, in the translation is, oh, I cherish those memories. While in the context of our discussion, yade hai yade should mean, damn those memories, because they keep coming back onto us and haunt us. Therefore, the sensual desires will either come from outside external stimuli, or they will come from inside, from our past memories. The solution of trying to empty the mind does not work, because mind has past impressions internally from the 155 trillion years of this cycle, and who knows from the previous cycles also. Simultaneously, there are also sense attractions externally also. So instead of trying to empty the mind, the solution is to fill the mind with Krishna. So instead of trying to empty the mind, create a hill in your mind of Krishna's remembrance, which will become a hill over the impressions that are already there in your mind. This is an easier solution. So I may try to vacuum the air out of an empty glass, but how long can the vacuum hold it? Any little exposure, the vacuum is gone and the glass is filled with air. Similarly, to empty the mind is impossible. Therefore, the processes of Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga are very difficult in Kali Yuga. So both ways is very difficult. Now you must have seen the visual of Ashtanga Yogi sitting in a forest, meditating, meditating in the forest, and his bones are almost gone, and the creepers are crawling on his body. So this is very difficult. So both ways is difficult for Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. Means both ways means it is difficult to create a vacuum. Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga are like creating a vacuum. It is very difficult to create a vacuum. And second, it is even more difficult to hold that vacuum, to sustain that vacuum. Meaning, even if I attain the elevated stage of Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga process, it is still very difficult to continue to stay at that elevated stage by Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga process. Therefore, it is difficult to create a vacuum, and is even more difficult to hold that vacuum. Therefore, rather than trying to empty the mind from all desires, I fill my mind with devotional desires. We already discussed many examples in the previous verse as well, couple of verses as well, from His Grace Chaitanya Chandas, that our weapons, fill our mind with these devotional desires, which are our weapons, that remembrance of Krishna, chanting japa, beautiful kirtan, beautiful discussion of our Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam classes. You fill your mind with all these Krishna-related activities. Now, Srila Prabhupada was asked this direct question about controlling lust. So Prabhupada's response was that no lust will take a very long time. But no time for lust is possible right now. I'll repeat Prabhupada's response, very important response. Prabhupada said, no lust will take a very long time, but no time for lust is possible right now, that busy yourself in Krishna conscious activities, then there will be no time left for other activities at the bodily and sensual level. If we busy ourselves in devotional service of Krishna, then that constant craving to enjoy at the bodily and sensual level will first go in the background, and eventually it will go out of the ground. I have done a lot of heavy talking. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Abhishek, go ahead.
Prabhuji, how should we see dreams when we are toleration in the awake state is is a thing, but dreams also carry impressions.
You are correct. Therefore, before you get the dreams, create a solution. Srila Prabhupada's direct instruction for all of us is that before going to bed, read Krishna book, even if it's one paragraph, or even if you are just looking at the beautiful pictures of Krishna from the Krishna book. The Krishna book itself is spectacular, and the pictures are really, really spectacular. If you follow Prabhupada's instruction, then instead of your sensual dreams, which are just coming out from your within, from all the impressions that you have, you will have Krishna in your dream. And Krishna being absolute, there's no difference between Krishna standing in Goloka Vrindavan or at the temple or in your dreams. Abhishek Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Questions, comments, realizations?
I have a question. Like when we are talking about going inward and reading Krishna and filling our minds and our time learning about it and just, you know, just indulging in all these. But my question is like in Grihast Ashram, when we start a family, the basis is like desire to have, kids or to have a home or the dreams related to other people like you around you, right? Not just about you. So how to practice it, like, because
So
if I
Rashi,
yeah,
so
it's confusing.
you are in the process of getting caught up where we have discussed this, that and some of you who have heard the Prabhupada lecture that I had sent you, how to find a Grahastha Sannyasi, you can add and help Rashi there. So if you treat your family members as your objects of enjoyment, then you are not a Grahastha. You are a Grahamedi. You will be attached. You have to become a Grahastha. Grahastha means that I treat my family members as devotees. I serve my family members as devotees, and together with my devotee family members, I also serve Krishna. That activity of serving Krishna, meaning doing devotional services, is how you will get out of the material world desires. So you will get purified. It's not forceful purification. It is the devotional service, means the higher way of living is what purifies you. So we have already discussed at great length, and I'm only briefly explaining that Prabhupada has a lecture which I gave to all devotees, which is my favorite lecture, how to find a Grahastha sannyasi. That Grahastha and sannyasi are opposite ashrams. How can Grahastha be a sannyasi? So Grahastha is a sannyasi that even when living with family in the material world and working in the material world, as long as the Grahastha is not attached, then he is a sannyasi. So Prabhupada has explained this, and we have discussed at great length in chapter 325, the difference between Karma Kanda and Karma Yogi is that Karma Kanda are less intelligent and attached. Karma Kanda is basically same as Grahamedi because they are demigod worshippers, versus Karma Yogi or a Grahastha is one who is intelligent and not attached. Anybody wants to share some points from how to find a Grahastha Sannyasi lecture that I had sent you earlier? Rashi, does that help you?
Yes, it does, and I'm keen to like learn more, and maybe I'll go back and read the entire chapter 3 to see if I can understand it on my own.
Yeah,
If I have
you
questions,
won't be able to understand on your own. Follow the recordings.
so
So I have
okay.
asked you to follow the recordings. If you try to understand or read Bhagavad Gita by yourself, it is impossible.
I tried, and yes, it is very difficult.
So Rashi,
But
you have the Bhagavad Gita now. I want you
yes.
to open chapter 8,
Mm-hmm.
verse number 28. Everybody can go chapter 8, verse number 28. And the purport, paragraph number 4, which starts the words idam vidum viditva.
Chapter 8, verse 28.
Yeah,
The one that's a person who accepts the
yeah,
path.
yeah. Go to purport, the 4th paragraph, which says the words idam viditva. Read few lines from there.
I don't see that one. Maybe I'm.
Purport. No, you are at the right place. Go in the purport. Find paragraph number 4. The words idam viditva.
I'm
Keep
not.
counting the paragraph. Keep counting the paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4.
3, 4. This verse is the summation of the 7th and 8th chapters. Is this the one?
So
I'm on page 348, the one that you said.
yeah, so that's paragraph number 1 that you say. This verse, right? Now go to paragraph number 2, then paragraph number 3, then paragraph number 4. The words idam viditva starts paragraph.
Okay, yeah. The words idam vidita indicate that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees.
Right. So what did Prabhupada say? You cannot understand Bhagavad Gita by your scholarship or mental speculation. It's not possible.
Yes.
How to understand is hearing them in association with devotees is
Right.
exactly what we are trying to do.
Right.
So follow my class recordings.
Sure.
And the discussions, and then you will be able to understand and get caught up.
Okay.
Questions, comments, realizations?
So I have a question from the purport.
Yeah,
You know, how the tortoise brings up its offspring simply by meditation. So what kind of meditation does tortoise do? Like, or the fish bring up this offspring by simply by looking at them?
Yeah, so the tortoise example is for us to understand that we use the senses only when they are required for. So Srimad Bhagavatam has examples for all of your senses, including the reproductive sense, that you use it only for Krishna's service. That's the purpose of the tortoise example, that the tortoise will take out his limbs and all his senses only when they are required to eat or to walk or something, and then he puts them back in the shell. That's what we are supposed to do with our senses, that only what is required, just as say you have to eat to maintain the body, you eat. You don't eat to enjoy. Or say when you are walking, you will see. You are only seeing for what is required to see to walk so that you don't fall down. You don't want to see beautiful things. Oh, I want to enjoy these beautiful things. Matan Prabhu?
Okay, thank you.
So I was talking about Ashtanga Yogi. So here's the visual for you on the screen that Ashtanga Yogi is sitting in meditation and trying to meditate, or you can see his bones and creepers are growing on him. This is impossible. And even if you do Ashtanga Yoga process on the yoga letter class, upcoming yoga letter class, it will soon become clear that even after doing this difficult Ashtanga Yoga process, or Gyan Yoga is very much similar, you still don't attain the highest destination. So what's the point? You are doing the difficult process of Ashtanga Yoga and Gyan Yoga, and you are still not attaining the highest destination. Therefore, Krishna says in 8.14 that Bhakti Yoga is not only easier compared to other yoga paths. Simultaneously, Bhakti Yoga grants you the highest destination of Bhagwan realization. All right. So now verse number 27, 28. So this is section 5. So I have explained that some acharyas have divided verses 27, 28, and 29 as one section, or some acharyas have divided 27 and 28 as one section on itself and verse 29 as a separate section. Either way, there are different topics discussed in these 3 verses. So all of you have undivided attention and on what I'm discussing about verses 27, 28. So 27, 28 is introduction to Dhyan Yoga. Dhyan Yoga is the same as Ashtanga Yoga, one and the same, just 2 different words to describe the same process. And verse number 29 is the peace formula verse. So Krishna will give a brief explanation of how one can attain liberation by the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. And then later, in chapter 6, there is detailed discussion of Ashtanga Yoga. So in Arjuna's minds, Arjuna had 2 options. One was Karma Yoga, means action, activity. And the other option Arjuna was contemplating was Gyan Yoga, means renunciation, to go in the forest and meditate. Now, Krishna has explained these 2 paths of action and renunciation. They don't have to be opposite. You can combine the 2. There can be renunciation within actions. We have discussed at great length in 4.18 about akarma. Akarma means doing devotional services. So these 2 points of action and renunciation can be integrated, that you dovetail your day-to-day activities in Krishna consciousness, and your action and renunciation becomes integrated and becomes a karma. Now, question may come up, can action alone, means can karma yoga alone lead to liberation, or is there another path? Now, all these questions and the related inquiries will become crystal clear on the upcoming yoga ladder class. So karma yoga action can lead to liberation. Krishna has already established this point from our discussion throughout chapter 3 onwards. So a grahastha acts in the world by doing karma yoga. Later, when a grahastha takes vanaprastha and sannyas, so when one renounces the world, what should one do to complete the process of liberation? At vanaprastha and sannyas level, a person's options are either to do Gyan Yoga or Ashtanga yoga or continue to do bhakti yoga also. Therefore, Krishna responds that instead of Gyan yoga that Arjuna was thinking, Gyan yoga to attain liberation, Krishna says Gyan yoga is very difficult. Krishna will go on to explain this in 12.5 and in later chapters that Gyan yoga is very difficult in the embodied body. Therefore, towards the end of your life, if you actually have to renounce activity, you should follow Ashtanga yoga process. There is very fine line between Gyan yoga and Ashtanga yoga. Now, for devotees in ISKCON, sannyasis as well as all other devotees in ISKCON, generally, even towards the end of their life, they simply continue bhakti yoga. They don't go to Ashtanga yoga, even though Krishna is giving this as an option. For devotees, the karma yoga is so matured, or even the bhakti yoga is so matured at the peak level that devotees simply continue bhakti yoga towards the very last moment of their life, such as simple chanting. That is bhakti yoga. So Krishna will briefly explain Ashtanga yoga process in this verses 27 and 28. And then this Ashtanga yoga or Dhyan yoga gets elaborated in chapter 6. So in chapters 1 to 5, Krishna has established that for Arjuna, action is better than renunciation. That karma yoga is better than Gyan yoga. And after karma yoga, towards the end of your life, if Arjuna wants to renounce the world, Arjuna can practice either Ashtanga yoga or Bhakti yoga, not Gyan yoga. Bhakti yoga can be continuously practiced and one does not have to change the process. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, actually it's described that Arjuna and all Pandavas, not just Arjuna, all Pandavas, Draupadi, Kunti, everybody practiced Bhakti yoga towards the end of their life and they attained spiritual world. They did not go through the Ashtanga yoga process, even though that is an option available. So all of you don't go through the Ashtanga yoga process. It is very difficult. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realization, because we are only going to simply read 27-28 translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
For Gyan Yoga, Krishna has already told it's difficult. For Ashtanga Yoga, it is presented as still an option. Is it so?
It still is an option, and this will become crystal clear on our yoga ladder discussion, that if you only do Ashtanga yoga, you don't attain the highest destination of Bhagwan realization. You attain the in-between Paramatma realization. And if you have to attain Bhagwan realization by following Ashtanga yoga, then you have to add bhakti. So what's happened in Ashtanga yoga? You stopped your activity. You are simply meditating. Well, stopping activity itself is difficult. And now you realize, well, I'm only getting in between realization. So I should add bhakti. So add bhakti means doing devotional service. So stopping was difficult. Now restarting after stopping is even more difficult. So why stop? Just do karma yoga. Just continue to bhakti yoga. And Abhishek Prabhu, you don't have a visual right now in front of you. It will all become crystal clear on our yoga ladder, but I briefly answered your point, if that helps.
Yes, Prabhuji. And just to the meditation practice in Satyuga, that process is same as Ashtanga Yoga?
Yeah, you are correct. So in Satyuga, Ashtanga yoga was possible.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Path Prabhu, verse 27-28 translation. So 27 talks about externals and 28 talks about internals, although the verses are related, linked verses.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, sense, and intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated.
Mm, mm. So you have to do all these activities, not one. Anybody able to do any one of those activities? Shutting off the senses, etc. And what you have on the screen as the Ashtang Yogi. Anybody able to do any of these?
No, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so it is very difficult. All right, we'll discuss Ashtang Yoga at great length in chapter 6. Last verse for chapter 5 is obviously a key memorization verse and is a very frequently quoted verse as the peace formula verse. So I will recite 5.29 Sanskrit first, and then you all can unmute and recite one line after me, please. So 5.29. Bhoktaram yagya tapaswam sarvaloke maheshwaram suhatram sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. Everybody unmute yourself and recite one line after me, please. Bhoktaram yagya tapaswam
Bhoktaram yagyatapasam
sarvaloke maheshwaram
Loka Maheshwaram
suhatram sarvabhutanam
Yadam Sarvabhutanam
gyatva mam shantim rachati.
Amam Shantim Rachati.
Raksha translation.
A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from pangs of material miseries. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So I'm going to soon ask you all a question. So 5.29 says, one who knows Krishna is the enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities, that Krishna is the proprietor of everything, that Krishna is the well-wisher of all living entities, such a person will attain peace. So at material level, peace will always be illusory and unstable because people will always be exploitative. Real peace will have to grow within the hearts of people. When people are internally peaceful, then they can radiate the peace outwards. Internally peaceful happens only when people become internally satisfied. You cannot have peace from external satisfaction because external situations are bound to be disrupted. Just look around how many wars are going on in the world. So Krishna is stating inner peace as the only way for outer peace. He says Shantim Rachati, means peace. Now before outer peace in the world, I have to make peace with God. That I have to stop fighting with God. So one may ask, who is fighting with God? I am not fighting with God. So here's a question for all of you. Am I fighting with God? Are you all fighting with God? Everybody please answer quickly.
No, Prabhuji.
I'm not.
No, Prabhuji.
No.
Yeah, in some sense, we are fighting for his position of controller.
Okay. Rest of you, are you
No.
fighting with God?
Yes, Prabhuji, to
No,
some
Prabhuji.
extent.
Okay, I got 2 no's, rest of you, sorry, I got 2 yeses and rest of you
Uh,
said you are not fighting. Monica?
Sometimes sorry.
Yes, we are. In a way, we are fighting because we are materially attached.
Okay, Rashi?
I'm not fighting, but I'm sometimes angry and I complain.
Yeah, why are you complaining? Because you are not getting your desires fulfilled, right?
Yeah, for the
So
sufferings
how are you not
for certain
fighting?
things. Yeah, maybe like I'm not fighting, but I'm complaining.
Yeah,
As you could,
yeah.
you would go in.
Hold your thought. Hold your thought. Nishan?
Yes, we are fighting with God in a sense that we don't have faith totally, so we are in the process, so we are fighting.
Very good. So actually, I am fighting with God. When we want to enjoy separate from Krishna, means I am fighting against Krishna. Subconsciously, I am hostile towards Krishna because I am trying to take Krishna's position as Bhoktaram. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. I am meant to be co-enjoyer and not independent enjoyer. When my plans to enjoy in the material world fail, what happens? Resentment happens. And resentment can go in 3 directions, just as Rashi was correctly pointing out. The 3 directions are: first, my resentment goes towards others. That why did that person come in my way? Because of that person, my plans failed. My plans to enjoy failed. When resentment goes outwards, I become hateful. Whether I hurt the other person or not, but I am hurting myself because that revengefulness is hurting me. The second way the resentment goes is resentment goes inwards. We start blaming ourselves, resulting in many negative emotions that, oh, I am useless, resulting in people developing this inferiority complex, this depression, and being suicidal. And the third way the resentment goes to God, that why does God do things like these to me? Meaning, I create a wall between me and God. I am fighting with God. When we understand that Krishna is my well-wisher, then that resentment calms down. It is possible that I may not understand immediately that Krishna is my well-wisher. Anyways, resentment is a negative emotion. So most of the wars happen because of people claiming this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Actually, everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna says in 5.29, the second line, Sarva Loke Maheshwaram. Not only this world, the entire infinite universes all belong to Krishna. Whether in this universe, whether it be Brahmaloka, heaven, this earth, Patal, this is just one universe. There are infinite universes. Krishna is Sarva Loke Maheshwaram. So Krishna is not referring to Shanti as the absence of war in the outer world. No. It is when one is not satisfied within because of resentment, that somehow my enjoying my mentality or my enjoyment plans failed. So knowing Krishna as Bhoktaram, as my well-wisher, then I just need to serve Krishna. Means I will have no enjoying mentality. Then there will be no resentment because I am only serving the supreme Bhoktaram, the supreme enjoyer. 5.29 also states how Krishna is the goal of all yoga paths. First he says Bhoktaram Yagya, that Krishna is saying, I am the Bhokta of all Yagya. Yagya or sacrifice are performed by those practicing Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga. Krishna is saying, I am the goal of those who are practicing Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga. Then he says Tapaswam, that austerities are performed by Jnanis to be detached from this world. And Krishna is saying, I am the goal of Jnana Yogis also. Then he says Sarva Loke Maheshwaram, that some of the demigod worshippers aspire to go to the planet of demigods. Krishna is saying the lokas of demigods are my lokas also. Demigods are secondary proprietors. I, Krishna, I am the ultimate proprietor. And then Suhadram, the goal of Ashtanga Yogi. Ashtanga Yogis turn inwards and meditate on the absolute truth to fix the consciousness on the Supreme Lord and perceive the Lord within. Krishna is saying that Lord that the Ashtanga Yogi is trying to meditate, I am that Lord. Therefore, Krishna is saying how Krishna is the goal of all yoga paths. Bhoktaram yagya tapasvam sarva loke maheshwaram suhadram sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim rachati. So how to take full refuge of Krishna? Full shelter of Krishna is to know that Krishna is Bhoktaram, well-wishing friend. That way, one can take full shelter of Krishna. Detach externally, because sense gratification is a womb of misery. You turn inwards for pleasure. You tolerate the urges till you have the body and stay equipoised in happiness and distress. Thus, we have completed chapter 5. The standard homework without me saying is, after every class, read all the purports up to the chapter or the verses we have covered and listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures that I post in the WhatsApp group. Any questions, comments, realizations? Heavy conversation?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Like, even as practicing devotees, should we see everything as Krishna's plan?
You are
Like,
correct for sure. Whether or not you think it is Krishna's plan.
and is that how Lord also thinks?
You are correct.
Okay, thank you.
Parth Pratyush Prabhus.
So, Krishna is referred to as Bhoktaram. That means the supreme enjoyer of everything, because everything is Krishna's property. So, in that context, how do we perceive ourselves as? Are we co-enjoyers, or are we servants of Krishna? Like, what should be our perception of ourselves?
All right. When you work in any company, they give you, say, the office computer, phone, etc. What are you supposed to use the office computer and phone for? Pratyush
For
Prabhu?
official work, yes.
For official work. What happens if you use the computer or the phone for your personal watching movie or for your personal reasons?
That's a violation of standards. Yes.
Violation of standards, and you will have negative consequences. Similarly, the body, the senses, and everything in the material world is given to us to serve Krishna, because the body and the senses belong to Krishna. The world belongs to Krishna. Krishna's another name is Rishikesh. Rishikesh means master of the senses. So we are not meant to enjoy. In our illusion, we think I am proprietor of everything that is around me. But we have to purify this consciousness and come to the level of understanding that all these things in the material world are given to us just to purify us and so that we can use it in Krishna's service. These are not meant for our enjoyment to begin with. Pratyush Prabhu?
Understood. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Rashi?
I'm just listening and grasping right now, and only after listening to the older videos, I'll be in a position to ask good questions and have a better understanding.
Very good. All right. So I sent you all the yoga letter chart in the chat at the start. Everybody should print it. Did anybody join afterwards? You want me to post it again in the chat? Everybody has it? Let me post again. So everybody please print the yoga letter shell document. The yoga letter class will run like a movie or a video in a fast forward mode. Sit in a comfortable place with a cone of silence around you to populate this more than 80 plus boxes. And even then you will be missing some of the boxes, but don't worry about it. And we will get you all caught up on the missed parts. Are we okay to stop here? Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.